Hello, guys. The presidential candidate of AAC, Omoyele Sowore, he don't speak concerning this just concluded presidential election, and he called it the state of hopelessness. Guys, listen to what he said on this video, and don't forget to share this video. Please, if you have never followed me on this page, please just click the following button. And don't forget to turn on your notification button. Anytime I upload new video, you'll be the first person to receive it. Thank you, guys. See you again for the next post.
Leaders legitimately and legally. And I'm here to tell you that as a participant in that election, this election was not different from the one I participated in 2019. I would say this one is even worse. But what is the irony of it was that in 2019, I was told that because I didn't get a huge number of votes, I have no right to complain. Interestingly, today, those who were saying that at that time have also now come to taste what we went through in 2019. And since 2019, we are not here to mock anybody. And I will encourage all our followers never to mock anybody. We are here to discuss real socio-political issues confronting our country. As you also must have noticed, since morning, in fact, I think since last night, the word revolution or revolution now has re-entered the lexicon of the Nigerian electoral system or national life. Because finally, what we saw in 2019 that led us to revolution now has now reached everybody. There's a whole change of consciousness, and we must thank all of you who always stood firmly out there. That every election result must be scanned and uploaded to INEC server. But there's nothing new about it. Before the election, I have been talking on radio stations and TV stations. I went to the National Assembly. I went to rallies, town hall meetings, and said INEC wasn't ready for elections. They did not want to listen to us. They also demobilized voters with their very wicked Naira redesign policy and whatever monetary policy they introduced a few weeks to election. As we speak, our people are still queuing up in banks looking for the new Naira notes that don't exist. They lied that if the voters are deprived of their own money, that big politicians will not be able to buy votes. They particularly mentioned some big political parties who they claim their candidates won't be able to buy votes if you don't have money. But the result today is that the number of participants in this election is abysmal. Less than 30% of registered voters are voters who had in their possession the PVC did not vote. They weren't only interested in voting, they largely boycotted the voting centers and polling units across the country. This is what that monetary policy cost us. And we condemned it when it happened. The same way today, we categorically condemn the election that was held on the 25th as a fraudulent election that did not meet the standard of what should be called a free, fair, and credible election. We knew it. There's nothing surprising about it. We knew they weren't planning an election. We talked about it. We shouted ourselves hoarse that these criminals in our system have no interest whatsoever in organizing free and fair elections. And here in Abuja, in an election in which he could not tell anybody that he won. So that's our position, that this wasn't an election. And that was our position in 2019. And we will stand by it. And we call on Nigerians across the world to reject a fraudulent election that imposes upon them a leader that they did not elect. What that means is that any figures, either for me or against me, or for them or against them, that you saw in this election were concocted and manufactured fraudulently. So don't fall for the gimmicks of the ruling class who says to you, oh, maybe you won somewhere, it should be fine. No, you cannot win or lose in an event that did not happen, that is called an election. So that is the basis for coming here today. But it's also a stark reminder that what we have consistently told you over these years, especially since 2018 when we started participating in partisan politics, that led to our forming the African Action Congress. Those of you who didn't see it then have seen it now. Those of you who didn't believe us in 2019 that they no longer organize elections, you have seen it now, that the only thing that happens in Nigeria during election is selection. Those of you who spent time deriding us, talking down on us, and mocking us throughout this electoral period, we hate to say it because it has no reverse gear. No reverse gear until it meets superior power. So this is where we stand as far as the election is concerned. But it's important to remind you that our political party had already made all this clear in advance because we didn't want to engage in any kind of psychophancy of the system. In fact, in some of the meetings we had with INEC, when we would say this, those who are now directly complaining, we are applauding INEC at such meetings. I recorded one of those and uploaded to all of you to listen. But I'm not here today to say I told you so. That's not the issue. The way and the reason, the way forward is for Nigerians to think progressively and revolutionarily as they're doing now. And to understand that elections by themselves alone will not give you the country you want. You can abide by it, the election timetable, as long as you want, but they are not going to allow you be in charge of your country, because you being in charge of the country means that they will be out of the country. You being in charge of your country will mean wealth redistribution. They don't want you, the greedy ones don't want you to redistribute wealth. You being in charge of your country means you'll be able to send your children to school. You'll be able to find jobs. They don't want you to have jobs. It means you'll be able to get medical care. They don't want you to have medical care. They want all of you to be dependent on them.